Welcome to today's Conversion Express, where in 15 minutes or less, you are going to learn a strategy you can apply to your website in minutes to get more leads. And these are meant to be brief, simple, and doable strategies. So today's, um, here we go, topic is how to make your website work with your marketing. This is really an important topic because I think too many of us think that out somehow people are magically making themselves to our website, but in fact, they are not doing that. They are coming to your website because they have been exposed to you in some way, whether it's because they saw some social posts of yours, or they saw you at a networking event, or they heard you on a podcast. You're doing something, i.e., marketing, that is causing people to come to your website. So when they are coming to your website, they're not going there by accident, okay? And according to Salesforce, the buyer's journey, this is a very simplified version of buyer's journey, but you basically have where people are becoming, you see here, there's a greater amount of people that are becoming aware of you. And that's when this is part of your marketing. You're, like I said, you're out there, you're doing social posts, you're speaking, you're podcasting, whatever you're doing, people are becoming aware of you. Then once they become aware of you, there's going to be some people who would decide that you're not really for them. And there's going to be others that are curious and they're going to come a little further down the funnel where they're considering you. This is where your website awareness and consideration are where your website is part of this buyer's journey in helping people to first be introduced to you and then become more aware of you and start to consider things that you offer. When it comes down to the decision, this really is about sales, not marketing, not your website. So I'm going to show you, and I do want to talk about the difference between marketing and sales because I think sometimes there's confusion between the two. And marketing is really about creating awareness. It's about generating interest and drawing in leads. Where sales then takes the leads that your marketing has done the work to attain and it converts them into paying clients and customers. So that's the difference between marketing and sales. And so, generally speaking, your website is part of your marketing for getting leads, but its purpose is not to close sales. That's up to you or your sales team or whatever to close those sales. So, how can your website work with your marketing? Don't think that just because you have a website out there that that's all you need to do. There's so much more to it, and I'm going to show you my marketing strategy. So, all of this stuff here in purple, these are my social, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. I then am part of some networking groups. This is part of my marketing strategy and doing some outreach where there's certain people I would love to work with. And these activities here are leading to three specific things here. Website Rescue Challenge, and this is, I do it 3 times a year with the graphic designer. And so this is one thing. That's one of my marketing strategies. Another one is this Conversion Express, and that's what this is. And then these purple activities are also leading people to my website. And then you see, though, that my website is also connected to my social media. So there's links on my social platforms going to my website and from my website to my social platforms. My website is also leading people to Conversion Express as well as the Website Rescue Challenge. And then I have several free things on my website to get people on my email list. But essentially, all of these activities here, trying to get people on a sales call with me into Conversion Express or Website Rescue Challenge, because if I can get them these three things, my email list, Conversion Express, or the Website Rescue Challenge, that is where they kind of go into a funnel to get onto a sales call with me. That will hopefully lead to a paid outcome, a paid project. And so I want to break it down for you in terms of really understanding all of the activity that goes into marketing and sales. So all of this stuff here in this light blue are all of my marketing activities. All of this is just trying to get people to get on a call with me, a sales call, which is over here in this aqua kind of color. This Focus 30, the Focus 15, getting on a sales call through my email list or through my website. They're all sales calls. So sales calls or the sales portion of this is quite a bit smaller than all of these marketing activities. And it makes sense because when you think of the buyer's journey, it's wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. So that makes sense. So just to remind you about the buyer's journey again, you've got your awareness, your consideration. That's where your website kind of fits into the buyer's journey. The decision is part of your sales. And if we were to break this down into where I'm creating awareness, is just here, right? All of this networking, going on social, doing outreach, all of that is helping people to become aware of me. Then this aqua, the consideration, this is where they're now aware of me. They're curious. They're going to come to Website Rescue Challenge. Maybe they come to Conversion Express. Maybe they'll go to my website and they'll get on my email list. So all of these activities is part of the consideration to help people kind of think about me, maybe work with me. And the decision part is a lot smaller. So it's not until they have made the decision, yeah, okay, I'm interested enough, I'm actually going to get a call with Sandra, and that might lead to a paid work here. So you can see that awareness and the sales are a little smaller. And that consideration one, there's a lot of stuff going into the consideration. That doesn't necessarily mean the amount of work involved is small or big just because these sections are bigger or smaller. It really just depends how active you are, for example, of networking. If you're networking like 6 times a week, that's a lot of networking, and maybe you do one of these other activities once a month. So just because these areas are smaller does not necessarily mean it's a smaller amount of work. I just want to point that out. But how do you take what I've just talked about and shared with you and actually apply it to what you just learned? So this just is a simplified way of looking at a marketing strategy where you need to remember that there is awareness. People need to become aware of you. They don't know you yet. So to get people to become aware of you, you're doing these network expansion activities. I'm going to explain that in a moment. And then the consideration is where you're giving out free things. And these free things can be things that are walled. When I say that, I'm talking about things that people have to give their email address in exchange to get the free thing. But then you also have non-walled content, like if you were to do YouTube videos, if you were to write blogs, those are non-walled content. Anybody can access it, and they don't need to tell you who they are, give you any kind of information. They could access it freely. But with the walled content, they usually have to identify themselves in some way, like register for something or give an email list or an email so that they can get on your email list, that kind of thing. And then the decision's the last part of all of this. So once you've done a lot of work on these first two, it's bringing people into a sales call to hopefully get some paid work. So just to talk about network expansion activities, I wanted to give you some ideas about what they could be for you. And this does not mean that you need to do all of these. And this definitely is not a thorough, exhaustive list. So keep that in mind. But what I would like you to do, and how do you approach these network expansion activities, are thinking about what is it that I'm really good at and I'm comfortable doing. So maybe you're more of an extrovert. You love networking and talking to people. So maybe that might be how you are going to get people to become aware of you, is by doing in-person meetups, doing virtual meetups, going to events, going to trade shows, anywhere where there's a lot of people around, you're going to get a chance to talk to them. And that's your thing, then do that. If it's one-on-one, then do activities where you have a chance to get to really know people one-on-one, like doing outreach, doing coffee dates, whatever it might be. But just pick 1 to 2 that you can do consistently. And when I say 1 to 2, I don't mean 1 to 2 necessarily of, like, say, outreach and events. I mean like 1 to 2. If you're good at one-on-one, then you're going to pick activities that are related to one-on-one. So it could be several activities under one-on-one. Or if you're really good at writing, then you could be several activities you do under writing. So that's what I mean. Pick 1 to 2 of these general activities that you're really good at and you're really comfortable with. And that is what you're going to start with to help people become aware of you, because that helps. You're going to be doing something you're really comfortable with that you can do consistently. And that is the key thing. If you're trying to fit yourself into, oh, I'm supposed to be doing social media because that's what everybody's saying, so I should be really active on social media, and you're absolutely dreading it, then rethink your strategy and go, okay, what is it I'm really comfortable with? Okay, I don't like doing social media, but I really like the one-on-one, so I'm going to talk to people all the time. So you got to figure it out. Figure out what you don't like doing and really focus on things you enjoy, you're good at, because there's a much higher chance you're going to do them consistently. And I have this little thing down here that really your networking expansion activities is about you. And in other words, I don't want you to think about where is my target client hanging out. Just think about what am I comfortable doing? Okay, just start from there. But the content you create around that activity is about your ideal target customer. So what I mean by that is if, for example, let's say you decide to do writing, and that's what you're really comfortable with, the content you would create around the writing, like your blogs and stuff, would be things that are needed and would be valuable to your ITC, not what is needed or valuable to you. Okay, so that's the distinction I wanted to make, is that the format, whatever activity you choose to do, is about you. It's about what you're comfortable with and what you can be consistent doing. But the content that you are creating or the conversations you're having around that is really about your ideal target customer. And when it comes to the free things, I would love if you would listen to last week's Conversion Express, where I talked about why your opt-in forms are being ignored, because really it was about your opt-in forms being ignored because the free things that you're offering, that you're asking people to opt in, are not things that they want. So go and listen to that. And in fact, I'll put a link right here and I'm pointing at it. So remember to put the little thing here and you can click on that and you can go watch it. And so this is the last part of this, is to just reiterate, think about your network expansion activities, walled and non-walled content related to your free things, your sales call. Map out what are you currently doing. That's the first step, to map out your current marketing strategy. And when you're doing that, you're going to find that there's gaps in it. You're going to find you hadn't maybe really thought about it well. Maybe it's not working well. Why is it not working well? Especially just because of it's time, or it's like something you really don't like doing, right? So you got to change that. Map out your current marketing strategy and then assess what's working, what isn't working. So whatever is working and you're enjoying it, and it's, when I say it's working, I mean you're being consistent in it and it's actually helping to get you traction and getting leads. I've given myself some balloons here. It helps to, that's what I'm talking about when it's working. It's something you're able to do consistently and it's actually getting you business, or at least leads, right? And if what isn't working are the things that either you don't like doing, you're not doing it consistently, it's not working, you're not getting any leads from it, just stop it then. Just drop it, okay? And then you might consider trying something new and adding it to your marketing strategy so that you are coming up and revising it and coming up with something that's actually going to work for your business. And I'm going to pop this in here actually, because I always do these recordings. And for the people on YouTube, this is something that I always offer in my live tutorials. I have live tutorials every Friday at noon Eastern time. And at the end, I always tell the people on the call that they can get 15 minutes of my time. It's called Focus 15, or they can get my eyeballs on something related to their website that they want feedback on. And the meeting is recorded and you get access to the recording for 2 weeks. And that is intentional because you need to do the work. If that access is available for the rest of your life, you probably will never go back to it or implement the things that we talked about. So I don't want that for you. That's why it's only available for 2 weeks. It's $29 Canadian, and this is in 2024. It is now, we're now in December. Once January hits in 2025, the cost is going up to 49 Canadian. So here's where you can schedule it. And I am going to stop sharing my screen now and remind you to go back here, find out why your opt-in forms are being ignored, what you can do about it so you can create content freebies that people actually want. So your opt-in forms will not be ignored and people will get on your email list. You guys have a fantastic week.